What's up, guys? Welcome back to All Purpose Builds. My name is Curvis, as you guys know. This is Where Are They Now, episode 2, EM1 edition. You can't see what's behind me, but that's okay. It's been a while. Last we left off in any recording before this break, you guys saw us start the EM1. There's a lot that happened in between. So we got that car running. We actually drove that car, enjoyed that car for, I want to say, a couple months. Believe through the summer, and then in the fall I picked up another EM1. This was a shell with the intention to swap everything over to have a cleaner chassis, which it was a cleaner chassis, but it did require some work because what one car had good, the other one lacked in. So, for example, the engine bay in the original car was, although it had a lot of paint buildup on it, it was a good structure, and it was easy for us to do what we had to do, which is basic prepping, painting, etc., etc. On the new shell, the car was previously turbo, so there was some welding required just to shut off or close off a hole that it was made for the piping. Overall, I'm gonna put some pictures here, showing you, well, on the screen, showing you guys when we picked it up. I just have exterior pictures. It was just another SI, although this one did come with a decent amount of extra parts. We have some footage of us putting together taking apart the original car. So this is now after we got the new shell. I started taking it apart, dropped the engine, took all the parts off. So just about everything came off of that car that was of value to us. And we basically did a swap. So the 5-lug suspension, all the suspension, anything relating to the K-Series swap, and a bunch of little things that we felt needed to complete the other car. We stripped that car completely. Then we started working on the new chassis. The new chassis was significantly cleaner, but not as cleaner as I initially thought. We ended up starting to put it together. We ran into major issues. For some reason, we kept having a reaction on that paint. That bay got stripped completely back to bare metal and painted 3 times. The third time was definitely the quality of it. I mean, after practicing 3 times, it was great. We then went to put the motor in, and we had one of those K-Series carts that hold the engine, and Brother Lewis was actually really against putting the motor through the top, but I figured that as long as we got the motor in the middle, then we could just lower the car, almost like how we used to do B-Series swaps. We would just lower the car onto the, basically on the floor, to be able to bolt everything up and line everything up. So that was supposed to be a easy day, and it ended up being a expensive day. We had the car, you guys will actually see the clip on this, that we had the motor up, and the chain, I guess I didn't slack it enough, and then, or tighten the bolt that we were using to reduce the slack, and it fell onto the radiator support on the right hand corner, which sucked because that car was very clean. It showed no signs of impact over there, but having to replace that, it was definitely something I wasn't looking forward to. Either way, we pushed through that. We moved over to completing the swap, actually, as much as we could that day. Then I had to order a Rad Support, ordered an aftermarket one because you can't buy the factory one anymore. It lined up like absolute crap. So once we did that, we were at a standstill until actually somebody local was selling a whole front clip cut back to the radiators, to the firewall, and that actually that was like a month later of us searching. Then we welded on a factory Rad Support to the vehicle, got everything lining up good, which we have pictures of. We'll put them over here. Assembled the car. We then ran into an issue where it wouldn't start. The crank position sensor, for some reason, had given out in the time that it was sitting. We then moved over. I went and bought an aftermarket one from a parts store, and the crank position sensor melted inside the timing chain housing, which then resulted in, so again, the issues didn't stop. So we spent hours trying to get it out without removing the timing cover, because in order to remove the timing cover, you have to drop the engine. Finally got it out. The car started right up with, I had a spare one from one of the spare motors, and the car started right up, which again, that was great, I guess. Then right after that, we started really finalizing the bodywork aspect of the car. So more than anything, it was the front end. Now that we had replaced that radiator support before we welded anything on, we wanted to make sure that everything was as good as it could be. We take my cars there frequently, where I was able to button everything up. So I transferred over the suspension, got everything working properly. Then I was able to even drive the car. While that, we stripped the car of its doors and whole front end, and the trunk and rear bumper went off the paint. So I was able to order at that time still OEM front and rear bumpers. In the meantime, while I still had it there, we have some footage of just buttoning up everything up, getting the cooling system working, getting the AC system plumbed, and putting power steering back onto the car, which was that was my first K-Series car that was OEM possible, OEM plus. So it had AC, power steering, everything worked. We buttoned everything up, and then when I got everything back from paint, car looked great, but and I drove it actually for our season, and then we just got it perfected, I guess you could say. We did a track-oriented alignment. There's not much footage of that, so it was cambered a bit, but the car handled amazing. Kept running into stupid little issues. Finally worked through all the bugs, and as many of you guys know, I go through what my brother calls a storm. That car actually didn't make it out the storm. So here we are today. Obviously the car's not behind us. I wish I could have it just to show you guys, but the car's in great hands. I have videos and pictures of it leaving. So yeah, after I finished the car, I still had the original shell. So then we worked on transferring everything that we had taken off of the new car, getting that car back rolling and everything. The intention wasn't to sell that car. So we put it together. It sat for several months, and then I just realized that I wasn't going to do it again, being that the new car had surpassed all my expectations as far as everything. So that car ended up being a very nice, very clean car. It was almost up to par with the Integra that you saw us build. But the Integra was very customed in a lot of ways to us, like that I picked the paint and everything, but we'll talk about that another time. But this car, I actually love the car. So the new car actually came with a bunch of OEM parts. So it came with an OEM rear lip, which if you guys know about those cars, you know that those are, one, hard to come by, and then hard to come by at a reasonable price. So I got a really good deal on that car. It came with an extra trunk with an OEM wing. It came with a bunch of like little stuff that I still have, those little things, but anything pertaining to that car that would have led to the final buttoning up, now the car was buttoned up. So, and there's a lot of miscellaneous things that I kept. So with that being said, none of the two EM1s or Civics are with us anymore. We've completely, let me just rephrase that. The cars didn't make it out the storm, and you guys will understand the storm later on in this series. So please subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and as you guys know, we will be releasing one new video every day for the month of June.